Hey guys, I'm Celeste. I want to expand on the topic of what I was talking about in my dream. I want to talk about what I was just saying about in my dream. I was in the same, I know my hair's terrible. You want to know why? I just woke up. Guess what? I don't care. Guess what? You could give me $1 billion and I would be like, cool, I have awful hair and $1 billion. Like, I wouldn't suddenly care. You can give me anything, I would not suddenly be like, I'm gonna fix that about myself for your comfort. Like, that doesn't exist within me. I'm like, so what? Maybe you're gonna be mad. Like, cool. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Guess what? It doesn't matter. Anyway, you wanna know what? Like I was saying in my last video that I just posted, which you're gonna have to watch it if you wanna know what actually happened in the dream, but Sophia Vergara was in my dream, okay? And not just in my dream, there were a lot of celebrities there, but she was the only celebrity that I was considered associated with, which what I started to mention was that it seemed very racially specific, and then I was like thinking about it after the video and I wanted to elaborate. I'm half Colombian, half Irish, and it's awesome to meet people who are Colombian. In the United States, in Florida, I've met 2 Colombian people. Maybe I've overheard someone else saying they were Colombian, but I'm saying at summer camp when I was 8 years old, I met 1 Colombian person. This girl who was Colombian at summer camp when I was 8 years old told me that she was Colombian, that she hated me, and that her grandma was my grandma's sister and she could prove it. And then she told me her grandma's name. I asked my grandma when I saw her later when she picked me up, and I told her the name. She was like, yeah, that's actually my sister's name. And then I was like, so now I'm way more confused because this girl at some random summer camp told me, so this was my first experience, okay? When I was 8 years old, or 8 or 9, I don't know, meeting somebody else who was Colombian who was not biologically related to me just for that person to tell me they had no reason to hate me, decided they hated me. I was already like, what? And she was the same age as me, and no one else was around. She did this when nobody else was around, okay? So you have to picture it. Just some other little girl walked up to me like, I hate you. Your grandma is my grandma's sister and I can prove it. Here's her name, and then just ran away. So you have to picture, you have to get it, right? So that was the first time I had ever known for sure that I was meeting somebody who was Colombian, who was not related to me. You want to know how rarely I meet somebody who's Colombian who's not related to me? Then in high school, I met one other girl who I was friends with who happened to be Colombian. And that is the entirety of all of the times. Maybe at my current job, there was one dude who I overheard saying he was Colombian or something, or somebody was asking him if he was Colombian. Then I turned around and I was like, I don't know if he is, but I am. And then everyone was like, nobody cares if you are. That's the entirety of all of the times that I've ever met somebody who specifically told me that they were Colombian. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm Latina. You know what I mean? Or most people who will tell me they're Latina, they're Mexican, they are from somewhere else, they're Venezuelan. You know what I mean? Those are the most common times when people say they're Latina, I guess in my area, I don't know, I'm not saying there's not any. I have not ran into them that much, or they haven't told me that they were. Genuinely. So and then in the entertainment industry, I don't know how many Colombian people there are. I know that Sophia Vergara is, which is why I was so surprised, because to me, I'm okay, it's very common to meet people who are Latina. It's very common to meet people who will tell you they're Latina and where they're from. I found it very uncommon. Maybe it's just me, but I found it, and I would love to meet more, but I found it very uncommon. very uncommon that I was shocked in my dream that that was the only person I was considered associated with. I was like, I don't even racially categorize people that much, guys. Like, I want to meet you as a person before I meet where you're from, I guess. Not that I'm not open to the traditions you actually practice, but how often do people actually practice traditions from where they're from anyways? I mean, they do, but a lot of people are removed from it. So it's like, when I meet somebody, I find it very important to meet you as a person. And then if you have certain things that pertain to you about where you're from, then I'll meet those aspects of you, but I'm not going to immediately categorize you as that one person I saw this one time or whatever, or this one person from that one TV show. Like, I think you're very racially disturbed is what I would want to say if you want to, like, be only fixated on categorizing people and then, like, you know, force them in your mind into a box with some person that they have nothing in common with. Like, I think you become more and more racially disturbed the more obsessed you become with categorizing people. But it doesn't mean that if you're from a certain place that you're not shocked when you are in the same room as somebody else who's from where you're from if it's extremely uncommon where you live, right? So when I tell you, yeah, I was surprised that I was, like, in the same room as Sophia Vergara, not just because of, like, the fame aspect, but it was more so, like, what are the odds that, to me, I'm like, what are the odds that, you know, two Colombian people that are not related at all are in the same room together? Where I live, it feels very uncommon because, like I said, out of the two Colombian people I've ever met in my life, one of them came out as being related to me at the exact same time as coming out as being Colombian at all, right? So I'm like, there are equal odds. There are equal odds that you're my cousin if you're telling me you're Colombian, as there are that you're not my cousin if you're telling me you're Colombian, based on what I've experienced, right? There's equal odds that you're telling me you're actually my cousin, my, like, third cousin, first cousin, whatever. Like, there's really equal odds that, like, you're like extremely, like, you know, not necessarily, like, what is it called, like, exact family. Like, you're not necessarily, like, you know, that close, but, like, you're, like, if I don't know you, you're, like, my grandma's brother's, like, family, or, like, my grandma's sister's family, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it was like, okay, this is someone who's definitely not related to me at all and is Colombian, so what are the odds we would be meeting at all, ever, in the United States? I mean, maybe in some areas, but where I live in Florida, in the actual area, like I've said, I've lived here in the general area 22 years, met two, and one was related to me and said they could prove it, like, and did prove it, basically. So you get what I'm saying when it becomes like, huh? Okay. I don't know. Some people, I don't know what it is. Do people just, like, overly categorize people for no reason? Are they getting something out of it? Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, she was nice in the dream, but why was there an association with Diddy on her side? You know what I'm saying? Not that there, I don't know. Could I prove it? No. It was a dream, but why was he there too? I mean, also Taylor Swift was there, so does she have an association with Diddy? I don't know. Someone else is gonna have to know if those two people are associated with Diddy or not, because they were in my dream. So maybe they were, maybe they were not. But maybe they just happened to be there. Maybe this had to do with, like, racism in the entertainment industry. How specific can they make it? I don't know. That's all I got, guys. But that's why I was primarily, like, so shocked by this. Because I was like, how many times in my life have I known for sure that I met somebody who was Colombian and not related to me? like one single time or something. I don't know. Anyway, I love you guys. Bye.